If you're just getting started on YouTube, there is a list of essential gear that you need to know about. In this video, I'm going to outline the most important parts. I'm going to give you a short list of my go-to items that you're going to need as a YouTuber if you're just starting a channel. I'll also leave all the links in the description below so you can go and check out the products. And we're going to jump straight into this and we're going to talk about cameras because people overcomplicate this. They want to get the most expensive gear even when they're just starting out. We've got a DSLR camera, action cameras, 360 cameras. I'm shooting on the phone here. What is the best camera for a beginner YouTuber? I started out using one of these. This is a DSLR camera and this is a Sony a7 III. This is one of my favorite cameras. This is a full frame camera and I'm currently using a really wide lens on this, which is an 18mm Samyang lens. So this is really good for vlogging or travel and adventure videos, which is what I make the most of. This is a fairly expensive camera though. So you may not have the budget for a DSLR like this. I mean, a kit like this probably would set you back a couple of $1,000s or pounds. That might not be in your budget to start with. And don't think that you have to have this camera to make your YouTube videos absolutely amazing when you start. Because you can literally just shoot with whatever you have. My mobile phone right now is shooting at 4K, 30 frames a second. It's just an iPhone 15 or whatever the latest iPhone is. I don't think it's the latest one. That does the job. That's another option. Your mobile phone is super flexible, super portable, and everybody has a mobile phone that can shoot YouTube videos nowadays. This is also another good option. So this is Insta360's Go 3 camera. This is a super small action camera with a flip up screen. You can actually take this camera out of its action pod and you can mount this literally anywhere, to your cap, to your chest, with all the accessories that come with it. So this is kind of like a lot more versatile in different ways than a DSLR camera. And it's also a lot smaller as well. If you are short on space and you want to just take this and you want like an all-in-one solution, this could be something that's worth considering. If you want to take your filmmaking to more creative levels, then a 360 camera might be up your street. So this camera is Insta360's X3 camera and it shoots in 360 degrees. So it's really good for travel, adventures, action sports, something where you want to capture a lot of stuff. It is a lot more capable than some of the other cameras, but in some sense, it's not as capable as the other cameras. It all depends on what you really want out of your videos on your YouTube channel. This might be right up your street. One of the pros of this camera is that the fact you can literally just press record. You don't have to worry about where this camera is pointing, and then you can reframe it after in editing and choose your shot and choose your frame. These other cameras, you would have to frame the shot yourself to make sure you're pointing a lens at whatever it is you're shooting. There are obviously many different cameras you can get, but I will leave a link to those in the description below, and they've been my go-to cameras for YouTube for the past 5 or 6 years now. I'm gonna now talk a little bit about SD cards. SD cards, you're gonna need these whatever you're choosing to shoot, unless you have an Insta360 Go 3, which already has the storage space in the camera. My advice to you would be to get the biggest space possible that your budget will allow and the highest quality card you can get. I tend to use SanDisk memory cards. I've found they're really good quality, never let me down, never had corrupted files. I use this one here, which is the SanDisk Extreme Pro. This is 64 gigabytes, so that's quite big, but I would get as big a size card as your budget would allow. The reason being is when you start shooting higher file sizes like 4K and even photographs or videos on these cameras, they tend to use up a lot of space. So we want as much space as we possibly can get. What about computers? Because you're gonna have this camera or cameras and you're gonna need something to edit your videos on. My go-to editing computer is my MacBook Pro. I have the MacBook Pro with the M1 chip, and this has been a game changer when it comes to editing videos, especially with super high quality 4K videos. It seems to be really fast at processing, it doesn't slow down too much, and it just seems to be a really easy computer to navigate around, especially if you're already used to Apple's products. I've never really been a Windows fan, I've always been an Apple fan, but that's my go-to editing software. Tripods. So tripods again is like opening a can of worms. Depends what camera you have. Insta360, you obviously have a little selfie stick like this, which I know it's not a tripod. You can get tripods for Insta360 cameras. You can get most tripods that fit in the thread in the bottom of these cameras is very universal. This is a tripod on this camera. And I'm also using a tripod on the camera I'm filming on right now, which is a flexi tripod. So you can mount it to anything and you can twist and bend the tripod so you can get your camera facing exactly where you want. Really cool little product. Might not be something that you're interested in, but for me, filming videos like this, it's a really simple solution, especially if you want to film top-down videos of you doing demonstrations of things. That's always been really handy for me. Microphones, same situation again. There is many to choose from, many different types, and it all depends on what you want to shoot. If I had a DSLR camera like this with a horseshoe mount on the top, you'd be looking at something like a Rode shotgun mic where the microphone would sit on top of the camera, like this up here. These are really good microphones for when you're on the go. If you want something a little bit more discreet, Rode also sell a wireless microphone, which is where you can attach one part of the microphone to your camera and the other half to yourself or the subject, and you can wirelessly record your sound. So that might be a bit more up your street if you're looking for something more discreet, something that's lighter and easy to carry around. A little bit more expensive, but also a little bit more versatile. Another option as well is something like a podcast microphone. So I use this microphone here, which is the Blue Yeti. It just sits on my table. Great audio, great for interviewing, great for podcasting, great for videos like this, educational, informative videos where I'm not really moving around much. And the sound quality out of this, well, I'm hoping it's coming across crystal clear and really nice and you can understand what I'm saying. Lighting is one of the biggest parts of YouTube, especially if you are recording educational videos like this in a studio. You don't want to be filming in dark areas like this. It's way better with an actual light. I will leave the link in the description to the lighting I use. It's on a tripod. It's by a company called eSmart, and it's a fairly big light with a couple of bulbs in it, and the tripod actually extends super high up, maybe 6 or 7 feet, and there's 2 in the box, so you can have multiple lights set up for whatever it is you're shooting, maybe doing interviewing, podcasting, or something like this. Really useful. That may be too much for you though, so you can actually get lighting that is like this here, which is a lot smaller, a lot more easier to travel around with. My advice to you though, always try and shoot where you can in the best lighting possible, whether that's natural lighting or artificial lighting like this. It will make a ton of difference to how good your YouTube videos are and how long people stick around for. And then we've got hard drives. So hard drives are something you are going to have to get, because if you're shooting tons of videos on your camera, you're going to need somewhere to store them and edit from. 2 types of hard drives I use. I have this Lacy external hard drive. So these are hard drives that I use to store all my footage. I generally don't edit from these because they're not solid state hard drive. It can get a little bit slow when you're trying to edit from this. You don't want to edit from your computer either, because you'll have so much footage on your computer, you'll probably end up with no space whatsoever. This is where this little number comes in, and this is a solid state hard drive. And it's basically a case that opens up, and it's actually got an actual chip inside, or a hard drive inside there. This to me is a really good solution for editing from. So what you would do is when you finish shooting, you would transfer your video footage from your camera to your solid state hard drive, and then you would edit your videos from the solid state hard drive on your MacBook or whatever computer you have. Solid state basically means it's a solid hard drive, whereas the Lacy hard drive here, the external hard drive, has a spinning disk in it. So there's less moving parts in this, which makes it more efficient, makes it faster for editing. The only downside though is that this has a lot less space in it. So this has maybe 1 terabyte of space, whereas this has 5 terabytes of space. What I generally do is I transfer my footage to this, I edit my videos, and then I transfer all my footage from this to my external hard drive where I store all my footage. You may be of a different thought, but I probably would pick one of these to start with, but you're definitely going to want to get yourself a hard drive. You don't want to be caught short of running out of space, because that is an absolute nightmare. This is also something I would strongly consider getting: spare batteries. So whatever camera you get, make sure you buy spare batteries, because last thing you want is to run short of battery life for your camera when you're out shooting something really cool. That is just a YouTuber's worst nightmare, basically. Don't get caught short-handed of battery power. Even having an external battery pack, which is great for charging your MacBook on the go, charging your camera on the go. I will leave a link to the description to the one below that I use and would recommend. Really powerful. It'll charge everything off that and just give you peace of mind, basically. There are obviously a lot more accessories and gear and equipment that you could buy, but as a beginner YouTuber just starting out, you literally need the most basic things. Start with what your budget will allow. A basic camera, whatever you can afford, whether it's your phone, a less expensive action camera, whatever. Just start with what you've got and then improve and invest more money into your gear and equipment as your channel grows. From there, you'll probably realize you might need more equipment like a drone or a gimbal for your camera for stabilized footage. All this stuff you can have that's nice to have, and it might be essential later on down the road, but it's not essential for getting started, especially when you get into the world of like different lenses and all these different things. There's like so many different things you could buy, but you don't need it when you're first starting out. There is all the links below in the description if you want to check out all the gear that I would recommend. These are affiliate links, so I do earn a little bit of a commission that helps support this channel if you do buy through them, which is fantastic. Any comments below on gear, let me know and I'll get back to you. See you in the next video.